Shalom Bracha from Yerushalayim. We have completed in our last video the Minhagim of Minha, of Shabbat and the BeSibbur. And before we get to Arbit, of course we want to discuss the Minhagim of Seudah Shelishit. So Seudah Shelishit, approximately 25 minutes between the end of Minha and the beginning of Arbit. The custom was that the synagogue will provide berachot, mezonot, cake, and sometimes fruit and drinks, so that people could fulfill the obligation of Seudah Shelishit. This was in all the synagogues. It was only mezonot. I guess in the last couple of decades, there's been a trend towards people who want to be more particular and more stringent in their fulfillment of this great mitzvah of Seudah Shelishit, and they want to partake with bread and make netilah, make birkat hamazon, ashrehem Israel. So nowadays you'll have many synagogues that will provide that option for the BeSibbur. But I wanted to discuss my experiences growing up in the Kahal in Brooklyn. So for instance, Sha'arei Sion in the 70s and the 80s, there were interesting things I used to observe. So many people just go out to the hall, have their mezonot, socialize. You always had a group that came back into the synagogue and they used to sing pizmonim, which was very nice with the Hazan and some Baalei Batim, which really enjoyed the Hazanut, the pizmonim. I remember in my days I used to see Alav Shalom, Joe Gindi used to always be at the forefront of this group and singing the more complicated pizmonim. So this was nice. As a matter of fact, in Addis we do something similar, except we do it for a couple of hours between Refuah and Arbit, which we established roughly 45 years ago. It's called the Arking Shabbat, where we'll pray Minha a little earlier and have 2 hours of singing pizmonim, bakashot and pizmonim. There was another group, a sizable group, that used to go to the terrace room downstairs, and Hacham Baruch Ben Hayim Zichrono Libracha, our esteemed rabbi, used to give a shiur, which was very popular. Many people would go hear the shiur during that to take advantage of that 20 minutes to study Torah. The group that was most loyal to our customs of Halab would go up to the Midrash, I'm sure they still do, and they would read the Alfa Beta. And this is what I wanted to discuss today. The Alfa Beta is a very old custom. In fact, it's printed in the Mahzor Arab Soba, which is printed in the beginning of the 16th century, and it consists of the Alfa Beta, which is Perek, Kof, Yod, Tet, and Tehillim, followed by all of the Shir Ma'alot, and it continues with various Perakim from different parts of the Tehillim, culminating in the Lamnaseh Ginot, which leads into the Pesukim, Adonai Sebot Emanu, which everybody sings in unison and in preparation for the Arbit prayer. Now there are different customs, nuances in the Alfa Beta. For instance, even in Kol Yaakov, I'm in Kol Yaakov, the most recent printing, page 350. So we'll begin saying 3 Pesukim, Lechun Ranena. It's customary before we begin saying Tehillim to say these Pesukim, and it's very sensible. Lechun Ranena, we're going to embark on singing now Tehillim to Borei Olam, Nari Al Esur Yish'enu, Nekadema Panav Betodah. So these 3 Pesukim are found in the Kol Yaakov, the current edition, although it was not in the original edition. And this is it's not by chance. There was a specific custom not to say these Pesukim. Differences of opinion. It's not printed in the Mazal Ram Sola. In fact, they start with another few introductory Pesukim, which we do not say today, although it is printed in the Argentinian Siddur. So you see, it's very interesting the way things develop. The way it is now, we do say Lechun Ranena, and we begin Ashrei Temim Edarech. It continues, as I said, with the Shir Ma'alot, followed by 2 Perakim, which are generally not said because there's no time. Mizmor LeAsaf and Lishlomo. It was to the point where these 2 Perakim weren't even printed in the original Kol Yaakov. They are printed now, but as was told to me by many people who recite it now in Brooklyn, they do not say those 2 Perakim. There simply is no time. In fact, In the book Derech Eretz, bringing the customs in the last generation of Halabiyah that were there in the 60s and 70s and 80s, they also would skip these two perakim due to lack of time. It's followed by Michtam LeDavid and LeDavid Baruch Adonai Suri. Now what's going to be interesting, what we'll do in our next video, is discuss the tunes that are used for these perakim of Tehillim, because they're not the classical Tehillim Ta'amim singing that we're used to. Kol Tuv.